Well, it looks like the British bank Standard Chartered is having a major problem. It's starting to crash. It's down 9% in third quarter earnings this time, and it's also 16% drop profits from the same time last year. So it's looking like it has a bad outlook. It has a lot of exposure, I think, to the commodities in India and China, and what's going on in the commodities. So people are lining up, taking their money out. Basically, what people are thinking is it's almost like they're bait for sharks in the water, and they're panicking and they're getting out. This is really what the deal is. Why silver probably will shine in the long run. It's not so much that there's going to be a supply-demand type thing. Well, yeah, I guess that is going to be it for coins, but end product. But it's almost like, you even look at hula hoops, and maybe that's a bad example, but was there a shortage of plastic? No. It's just that there turned out to be everybody wanted to be in hula hoops for a short period of time, and there's going to be the climate in the financial world where fear is going to drive people into physical silver, and it's going to go way up. This deal with the bank is not the first thing. It's actually going to be a snowball effect. One bank goes down, people react, they throw the ball back, and then all these other banks go down, and you can see everything coming into play like that. That's exactly how it's going to go. So anyway, the wealthy basically don't have it as good as I'd say the underclass, and a lot of things they just don't have. I'm going to tell you that right now. You know what they worry about all the time? Money. I do know this because as an accountant, they worry about money all the freaking time. Maybe I don't know the billionaires, but I know the high dollar net worth people. They worry about money constantly. Everybody thinks they're off work. When they're on vacation, they're constantly getting calls from people, and they take all the calls, and they are constantly looking and worrying about their money, and they always got these bad dreams and nightmares that they're going to be paupers. They do. I'm telling you that right now. A hell of a lot of them do. So anyway, you can't compete. A lot of times they can't compete with the regular people. A girl here sitting on a chopper and, shovelhead 4-speed tranny with the kickstart. And, old boy with the great Poupon car, he just doesn't have the same type of outlook on life. So, just count your blessings in some ways there. Now, I also want to state Japan also has a lot of problems going on. And, they don't have the severe inflation. It's amazing with all the super QE. But it may come back to bite them in the long run. A lot of times these policies, when they got the super QE and the banks on the top are holding all the money and all the big corporations are holding all the money, it's not, the velocity of money is very low. They may be issued a lot of money trying to stimulate the economy. Maybe they're trying to cheapen their currency, but the velocity of money is very low. What happens when that money gets down into the productive middle class if they actually open the floodgates? I've been talked about this a few times before when they actually try to go ahead and the actual money gets spent by the big banks and gets into the hands of the middle class. What happens then is that the velocity of money goes way up and you have rampant inflation. And that's probably what's going to happen in Japan. Their economy is like on life support, and it's all by design by the New World Order, I think. Now, also, in Venezuela, they are having major problems kickstarting their economy. They're actually doing some really, really stupid things. They're importing oil. You believe it or not? Well, they're importing a type of oil that is used to process their extra heavy crude oil, but still, they're importing from Russia. And I got to mention this thing with Russia. Russia actually, Venezuela is never going to be able to kickstart their economy. You should see what's going on with the bolivar. They got inflation. The bolivar has been wrecked a bunch of times, and all the policies, the Marxist policies that try to freaking kickstart their economy, it's not going to happen. You could kickstart all you want. You got socialism, it ain't going to work. It's like, the wires are off of this freaking shovel head here, and old girl's never going to be able to kickstart this bike in a million years. Now, I also want to state something about Russia. Everybody is a fan of Russia, and they say, oh yeah, the Russia today's got all the truth and everything. Well, they got 74,000 websites banned in Russia. and including the Wayback Machine. You know, the Wayback Machine that goes back and you could look up, you know, what a site used to be, say. They don't like that because it might, you know, if they scrub something, they don't want the Wayback Machine be able to look up so somebody can look up what it used to say. You know, if the Russian authorities scrub something, they don't want that. They don't like that at all. So 95% of the 74,000 websites banned in Russia have no illegal content whatsoever. And, you know, people are screaming like, oh, and Putin thinks they got too much internet freedom over there. And, you know, the armchair clowns over here in the USA that are fans of Russia today, they still don't, they're never going to get it, man. I just like, I don't know, it's like when somebody got an opinion that Russia and Putin's great, I guess, you know, they don't believe it until they actually experience it. So I just want to point out that fact. So anyway, now as far as the European Union, it's going to have a hard time holding together actually under the onslaught of the low the oil prices, partly because, you know, I think there's going to actually be a shortage of oil. I begin to wonder because it's just me thinking, but I'm thinking is if Russia is getting clobbered economically with oil, and you know what's going on with the ruble, why wouldn't they turn off the spigots? I mean, to me, it makes more sense if the price of oil was way up there. They would not turn off the spigots to Europe. So, you know, here's the European nation here riding down the road. Actually, if I was Putin, I don't know what the hell he's going to do. But if I wasn't getting that much money for my freaking oil anyway, I'd be like, why the hell would I even bother freaking selling it to Europe? I'd sell it to China or something or someplace else. I don't know. I mean, if the world demand is going down and I'm being hurt anyway, because actually, you know what they had to do? The ruble has actually went down 20%. 20% this year alone. You know, if the U.S. dollar went down 20%, you see old girl trying to kickstart this other shovelhead. Well, this is not a shovelhead. This is an Ironhead Sporty. Ironhead Sporty with a kickstart on it. You know, I wish I had a kickstart on my Evo, but I can't get one on a 4-speed. I got a 4-speed with a chain drive. But anyway, the thing is, you know, they can't. What's going on in Russia right now? You know, if that was the same thing happened in the USA, you would see Gerald Celente and, I don't know, whatever, some other yo-yos out there screaming that, oh, yeah, the banksters in the USA is falling. The ruble is down 20% this year alone, and it was down the year before. And over the past 100 years, it went to oblivion, you know, freaking... I don't know, if you could have billions of euros and you would have €1 today, the way they revalue their currency. And they're doing everything they can to restart the economy. They're going, the central bank of Russia has intervened, and guess what? The ruble fell to new record lows. And their biggest export, and you know, usually when your currency falls, it helps your export, but their biggest export is crude oil, and the money on that is going down. So I know our elite are doing this stuff to them. I know that. I mean, I freaking kind of figure it. I mean, I don't have like access to the internal planning meetings, but it's kind of obvious. So on the other side, what's going on is though hackers have been hacking the White House, the White House computers. Believe it or not. You know, it's an age-old game, man. Cowboys and Indians, and here we have a modern-day Indian Pocahontas on an Indian motorcycle. So, you know, it's the old game, man. I don't know who the Cowboys are and who the Indians are, but basically that's kind of what's going on with the Russians and the USA. It's like tit for tat, man. They're just fighting each other. So they've been hacking the White House, and you know they hacked J.P. Morgan for millions of accounts, right? You know, I mean, somebody's going to say the CIA did it. I'm like, yeah, right, man. The CIA did it. Okay, the CIA did it. No matter what I say, and no matter how much proof you get, you say there's people that say Western propaganda, and the CIA did it. Come on, man. You know? Anyway, you know, the only thing is to go back to old school because, you know, you can't, if you don't have a computer on your old Indian motorcycle, they can't hack into it, you know? If you're trying to run away from them and you're one of these reporters or something like that, you're better off on one of these iron horse steeds, than you are in a Mercedes, because they'll drive it by wire right into a telephone pole, and you know what I'm talking about. So Pocahontas knows what the hell she's doing. She's got a good old flathead Indian motorcycle here. So if she gets the scoop on the Obama administration, guess what? She'll be riding safe. But I just want to tell you this, to sum it up, silver's going to go, it's going to shine through the smoke, man. Through all the smoke, and the Silver Warrioress. This is the Silver Warrioress here with their, Parliament cigarette, man, whatever the hell she's got, Virginia Slims or whatever, and carrying this sword of silver right now. She's going to end, blowtorch actually, because that's really what you need to open up them J.P. Morgan safes. You got to use a cutting torch on them damn things, and silver is the way to do it. So anyway, just want to sum it up with that, because there's going to be a panic into this, because people are feeling more and more unsafe. Where do I go? I can't have cash. I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't use the banks because the IRS says if I deposit too many cash things, it's no good. I can't, I can't trust this. I can't trust that. People are going to start waking up and say, wait a minute, silver. And guess what's going to happen? There's too many people around with too much money and too many dollars to go into a thimble. That's why it's going to go up. But when it goes up, I'm going to use this big word, spike. Spike. Spike means what goes up real hard, too fast, too profitable, comes down. It might go to the moon and crash to the freaking inner earth. You know what I mean? So you got to watch that deal. I'm hoping I catch it close enough to the spike top, but that's going to be a tough problem. So anyway, over and out. Just want to give you a quick update of the stuff that's going on and the balanced rational thing that's going on. All economies are all screwed up everywhere, and everybody's got fear. So Silver Girl with the blowtorch is going to be leading the charge in the, I don't know, whatever she's smoking there, man. Probably a weed. I don't know. Over and out.